This is comparisons, adjectives, and quantity. Expressions of quantity. If you'd like a little bit of sugar in your coffee, obviously you can't use French numbers. So expressions of quantity in French, included those related to food, are just what you would need. You use an expression of quantity to express a quantity that's less specific than a number, and yet a bit more specific than a partitive article like du, which is some. Most expressions of quantity end with de, which is of, but quelque, which is several and or a few, plusieurs, which is several, and aucun or aucune is none, they don't. Here's a list of common expressions of quantity. Assez de, enough of, beaucoup de, a lot of or many, combien de, how much or how many, la plupart de, most of, moins de, more or less of, ne, blank, plus de, not any more of, peu de, which is little of, plus de, more of, plusieurs, which is several, quelque, several, some, or a few, trop de, which is too much of, or un peu de, which is a little bit of. Expressions of quantity examples. Here are some examples of these expressions in action. Il y a beaucoup d'émissions intéressantes ce soir. There are many interesting programs on tonight. Dépêche-toi, nous avons peu de temps, which is hurry, we have little time. Or ils ont plusieurs enfants. They have several children. Comparative versus superlative adjectives. An adjective can be augmented to 2 degrees of comparison. The comparative, which is like faster, and superlative, which is fastest. Many English words follow this pattern of adding er and est endings to make their comparatives and superlatives like ugly, uglier, ugliest, or short, shorter, or shortest, but not all of them. For the words that do not, we must use more and most, as in beautiful, more beautiful, and most beautiful. Most French adjectives function in the second manner, so we would put more or most plus the adjective. And the way you do that is by adding plus and le plus. So in this example, we would say intelligent to more intelligent to most intelligent would be intelligent to plus intelligent to le plus intelligent. Prettier to prettier, pretty to prettier to prettiest would be jolie to plus jolie to le plus jolie. To form a comparative sentence, you follow the structure plus plus adjective plus que. Remember that the adjective must agree with the subject of the sentence. So for example, if we were to say that Anthony is braver than Mark and Mary is kinder than Sophie, we would say Antoine est plus courageux que Marc et Mary est plus gentil que Sophie. Isabelle is less curious than Jean would be Isabelle est moins curieuse que Jean. Jean is taller than Pierre, you'd say Jean est plus grand que Pierre. Irregular adjectives. It is imperative to memorize the adjectives that do not follow this pattern. So good to better to best would be bon to meilleur to le meilleur. Bad to worst would be mauvais to pire to le pire. Like their English counterparts, these words already have comparative and superlative forms on their own, so there is no need to add plus or le plus for the same reason that more better or most worst are incorrect. In these cases, you just need to add que after the adjective, just like we would use than in English. So in this example, if we were to say chocolate is better than vanilla, we would state le chocolat est meilleur que la vanille. Superlatives. By its very nature, the superlative does not require anything to follow it since it is an absolute. So you can therefore simply end a sentence with it. So in this example, if we were to say Mark is the smartest, we would state Marc est le plus intelligent. So for practice, discuss the differences between superlative and comparative adjectives with your secondary partner. Also, write a sentence either using an expression of quantity or superlative/comparative adjectives.